All right, all right, all right. Everybody, welcome to another episode of RV Rental Secrets Podcast. I'm your co-host, Garr Russell, here with Stacey. I don't have a nickname again. I think we might just have to remove that from the show. I'm not coming up with them anymore. I've run
Yeah.
out.
After
Stacey, keep,
50 episodes, I think that's okay.
yep. Okay. I'm here with my partner, Stacey Maxon, y'all. And Stacey and I were just sitting there talking about what should we talk about? And then we're like, oh, we're reading this new book together. Let's talk about that. And then we started talking about how, man, it's so rare to find people that are actually just trying to grow in just do things in life. And so we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about just going and growing in this new book that we got by John Maxwell, How to Get a Return on Failure. Stacy, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I loved how we were talking and I'm like, wait, we should record this. Because
Yeah.
it's such a good topic. And I've found that since I've become an entrepreneur, or since I've become an entrepreneur with Fireside, because I've had several other things I've tried in the past but haven't really stuck with. But like really pushing myself and trying to grow. And that's, through travel, through reading, through courses. Um, and I think, we have a good relationship where, we'll pick a book and be able to bounce ideas off of. We did that with Science of Scaling. That was one of the last ones we read. And really, not just reading it, but actually implement it in our business and in our lives. So that's, the next important step. Like you're not just consuming, but actually taking action on what you're reading.
Yeah, that's so true because yeah, you can just read a book or watch a video or whatever and just walk away and say, "Oh, that was good." But if you're not implementing, and that's part of, to me, that's part of the power of partnership, right? Where there's a new level of excitement and accountability. And same with me, Stacey. I've done many things throughout the years that kind of come and went, but it wasn't until I started partnering with others and doing life alongside others that I realized, oh, there's power in partnership. And one of our mentors, Russell Brunson, says, a successful business that has two components. It has, the operator integrator, and it has he calls it the attractive character. I always feel weird saying that, because I'm calling it, but the person that's out, and doing the videos and all the things like that. So yeah, so true. So this book here that we just started reading, How to Get a Return on Failure. I'm on chapter two. I just finished chapter two. Where are you at, Stacy?
I'm the same, and it's funny because we hadn't really talked about like where we were at in the book. We just were reading it on our own and then found out we were in the same part.
Yeah, because I gave you the book before you hit the road, and then you've been traveling, and yeah, it just kind of worked out. But I love chapter two here is so cool because it talks about keeping success and failure together. There was one thing I highlighted that jumped right out at me. It says, no, that's not it. It says, keep success and failure together for so long that neither stand out. And I love that because, right, it's like, hey, you're going to have successes, you're going to have failures. Most times, unfortunately, the way that we're wired, we focus more on where we failed than where we had success. But John is saying here, like, no, have them so close together that neither one stands out. Like, just understanding they're both part of the process, failing and succeeding.
Yeah. And even just like reframing it. So I mean, why do you say it's a failure? Like there's so many, I think it was in chapter one, it said something about the different levels, um, where like if you're looking to see what level at which you failed, where is it? Like praiseworthy to blameworthy. Like you just have to reframe like, oh, I'm testing something. It was a challenge. So just reframing that instead of saying I failed, I'm a failure. Just using different words. And then the other thing that really like stuck out to me was it was like why do you think problems and failures are like unique. Like it's just a part of life. So just because you didn't do something right, it's not anything special. Like there's going to be successes and there's going to be failures. And like you said, like one's not any more important than the other.
Yeah, so true. One's not more important than the other. I love this saying in here. It says, the faster we fail, the faster we discover ways to improve and succeed. So literally, like failure is just part of the process. It's, you make a decision, you take an action, it works or doesn't work. If it works, great, right? You call it a success. If it doesn't work, it's not even necessarily a failure. It's you just learn something.
Yeah, and that's so important in business because, on a day-to-day basis, in the rental industry, you're dealing with customers, you're dealing with, maybe creating quotes and say you sent one out, without a delivery fee or something like that. And I've seen people take things so personally, like, oh, I can't believe I did that. Like now I'm gonna have to eat that money. Like I can't possibly reach out to them. And it's like, no, like just admit that you made a mistake and send the new quote. Um, another thing, I talked to a franchise over the weekend and they were like devastated that there was a renter out with some problems with the RV and like the customer kept calling them and kind of blaming them for it and they were taking it so personally like as
Mm.
a major failure and I was like everything could have went well and they still could have complained or it could have been a different customer and everything happened to them, but they were a different type of person and they wouldn't have complained. So, like, you have to separate yourself from that and don't take it as a failure on yourself or as your business not running properly. Like you said, it's just a learning experience of how to do something differently next time.
Yeah, so true. Especially when it comes to campers, right? Because we're avid RVers, Stacy, and we know about every time you hook up that RV and go somewhere, something's gonna happen. I mean, we just went for one night the other week up to Busch Gardens and we had a problem with the generator and then the AC went out on the dash. I mean, there's always something going with RVs. So I mean, just a real simple thing that you can just take away as you're talking to your customers when they message you and something happened. Be like, oh, yeah, I know, oh my gosh, RV sure aren't built that good, but how's everything else going? And kind of deflect and then encourage them along the way. But I love this saying here. It says, um, this was John Wooden, a famous basketball coach, and his team won a game, but they played bad, and he was just saying they came off the court like, yeah, we won. He came off the court like, guys, if you look at it just that way, um, you won't realize the mistakes that you made. And his point was, if we're always winning, then we're never learning because we think we're bulletproof, we can never make a mistake. And so, yeah, back to the whole point. Part of the process is failing. Like literally, failing is part of the process of life. Napoleon Hill says it this way. Oh, I had the page up. I'm going to paraphrase it. Every failure has the seed of an equivalent advantage, right? So you can do, we just had this, I just had this a couple months ago with one of our franchisees that left. And when they decided to leave, him and his business partners, the thing that I realized is I was really connected to the one franchisee, but I wasn't connected to his two business partners. And right around that same time, we had two other locations that were adding a second location with the business partner. And I think I told you this, Stacy. I'm like, hey, the thing I learned out of this so quick is I reached out to these other franchisees that were opening a second location. I reached out to their new business partners, got a meeting with them, and began to build a rapport and get to know them because I learned, oh, it was easy for this one franchisee to have the desire to leave because I never built relationship with them. There was no bridge. So that failure quickly turned into a learning experience for me.
Yeah. I had it on my list of things to do, but I haven't done it yet. Have you like gone through some of the discussion questions in the book?
Yeah, I've looked at some of the discussion questions. Yeah.
I wanted
Yeah.
to
Not on
journal.
chapter two. I did have it yet, but chapter one I
Okay.
did.
Yeah, I wanted to journal them. I feel like just reading a couple of the questions, it's like it goes deep, and I feel like it really gets down to the root of who you are as a person. So like the one is like, what is your earliest childhood memory of failing? It's like,
Mm.
oof, like that really brings you back and like kind of sees like how you even turned out as a person and why you're taking failure so personally.
Yeah. Well, you know mine, Cece, from my real estate storybook that I wrote. It's in fifth grade when I went to my dad with a business plan and asked him to invest in my lawn care business. And he laughed at me. And I took that for years. And literally, it wasn't until two retreats ago that I realized he wasn't laughing at me like, "What are you thinking? You can't be an entrepreneur." He was laughing at me saying, "Son, why don't you go push our lawnmower first and learn how to do that before you go try to buy five lawnmowers and get all your buddies to push them around?" But, right, it just shows that in that moment, I believed a lie and I literally carried that lie up to 46 years old. I mean, how
Mm,
crazy is that? So from 12 years old to 46 years old, I've been wrestling with this lie about, my identity as an entrepreneur.
yeah. So I just saw what time it was, and we only have a few minutes left before our fireside chats. So
Yep.
for like a few like quick tips, we can give them before we leave. Like maybe, I don't know, ways that they can grow as a person or as a business leader.
Well, one of my favorite sayings is you're always winning or learning. Or like my mentor, Myron Golden says, all work works. It either works on you or it works for you. And then that ties to Proverbs 14:23, which says, "In all labor there is profit." So if
Mm,
we're taking action, right, labor, if we're moving forward, there's going to be a form of profit in that, whether it's something we learned or a direct result as far as earnings or reward of this or that. So just remember when life happens to ask yourself, okay, what can I learn in this situation?
yeah, I'm gonna give my quick tip is find community. So there's going to be times in business and in life where you run out of ideas, you run out of motivation, and like you need those people in your corner to help push you. So definitely, whether it's a business partner, a spouse, a Facebook community, a mastermind, like find your people to help you get through it.
Oh yeah, that's so true. I mean, when we joined the ClickFunnels community for marketing, that was a complete game changer for us. And then the Fireside community that we have. I mean, we were literally designed by God for community, for fellowship with other people. And it breaks my heart. I still talk to people that literally post COVID and they're still out there doing life by themselves. And that's one of the entrepreneurial lies is that you have to have it all figured out and you can't ask questions and all that stuff. So, awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us on this episode of RV Rental Secrets podcast. We'll see you on the next. Thanks, y'all.